on the secular mindfulness and the classical mindfulness. So that was a very good and inspiring discussion. So I wasn't going to do anything today. And Eva said, there's a topic that we need to discuss. Laurie raised it up about meditation, mindfulness meditation or meditation itself. So maybe we can go on to discuss some meditation issues. So, but one very important aspect we need to know about the definition of meditation. Of course, mindfulness practice is a one form of meditation. Okay, it's one form of meditation. But meditation is not just mindfulness. Okay, so meditation is a big family. And mindfulness meditation is one of the little child, or one of the things inside this big family. So there are many different types of meditation. It could be tantric. So you know what is tantric, right? So tantric, that means you do a mantra repeatedly in your head, and then you can couple it with visualizations. Okay, so that could be tantric. And also it could be a Zen meditation. Zen meditation, that means in the Chinese called Chen meditation, Chan meditation, where meditators or practitioners just develop very pure form or pure sense of sitting and just be aware of they are sitting and allow this mind to really becoming calm and pure and focused, even though there are thoughts coming up. You know, it's actually, and also they actually emphasize on the posture a lot, and also emphasize on not changing postures. So in the old days, or I don't know whether it still happens now in China, there is a temple in China. In the old days, with the ancient Zen masters, because there were no clocks, and so they always count the time by burning an incense. So in the old days, they use iron powder to mix with wood. So when it burns, it takes a long time to burn. So through that time, you're not allowed to move. You're not allowed to change posture. So it could be up to 3 hours. It could be up to 4 hours. It could be, you know. So that actually is a very firm and strenuous determination. Also is pushing you really to the limit that you just have to go into the pain and then forget about the pain. So it pushes you to that just really mere awareness, a pure sense of really sitting very solidly. And also the master, there will be a prefect master around the meditation hall going around with a board.
What's that for?
It's really not really to punish you. It's really to awaken you. First thing is to wake up those people who keep dozing off. Okay, because time is so precious. You know, especially human life is very precious. We cannot waste our time dozing off. And secondly, is a practitioner is really serious and really practicing very correctly, but lacking one step up, want somebody to push it over. That prefect master would be the one, or the app or the meditation hall master. There are actually, they have different status. So there are many meditation hall masters. So the top masters will see how this practitioner is, and if they can see that they need a push, they'll go and use the board and hit on the left shoulder. And there's in quite a few incidents, or in quite a few situations, that actually quite a few practitioners awakened or achieve realization because of this little push by the master. Of course, the master has to know how these practitioners are, in what state they are, what meditative state they are. Of course, then it's just like PhD students would probably be able to teach university students, because they know what is on their mind, and they know their standard. And then university students will be able to teach like high school, middle school, and middle school will be able to teach elementary school, right? So these masters are not just like PhD scholars. But you see, with meditation, you don't check them, or even though with verbal exchanges, you still can, very difficult to actually check that state of meditative state. So it's really a mind-to-mind thing. So some of the meditation teachers, they look at you and they know which jhana you are in, the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, they know, okay? So there's one type of Zen meditation. And the other type of Zen meditation is they give them an unsolvable riddle. And so, okay, you just dive into it. You just dive into it and try to solve this. And because it's so difficult to solve, and so the practitioner may be actually facing a lot of pain from the situation, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. So he must really try to find a way to flee into a really just pure experience of that moment, in a very wakeful and alert mind, but very objective and very clear and wakeful, that when he goes into that mode, actually that riddle is completely resolved, and he can be really awakened from that situation. So Zen meditation is actually very tough. It's actually very tough. And nowadays, with this historical evolution of Zen meditation, some even make it tougher. But in the Korean style, there is called the lion's roar. Is you go into an interview with your teacher, and the teacher asks you something. So who are you? And if you say, oh, I'm Eva Ziduliak, oh, you got a point, I tell you. I remember a few years ago I went to China, and then I met a Zen teacher, and he said, "Where do you come from?" I said, "I came from Canada." As soon as I answered that, I knew I was wrong. I knew I was wrong. So because I did not practice Zen, but as soon as I replied, I knew that was a very, very wrong answer.
So what was the right answer?
There is no coming. There is no going.
Oh, okay.
Where did you come from? I came from nowhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Brain scratching.
Yeah, scratching.
Yeah. So that is the Zen meditation. And I think nowadays the most popular is called Vipassana meditation. And Vipassana meditation, don't misunderstand it, it's just one type of Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation is also like a name of a big family. Okay, and is actually is called Vipassana Bhavana. So Bhavana, this word actually comes from bhavana. It comes from bu, bhu. That means to grow and to become. Okay, to grow in what? To grow in an insight, in understanding. So it means to cultivate, therefore. And when you talk about bhavana, it's always connected to the mind. Okay, so that means it is a mental cultivation, a mental becoming, a mental growth. So it's always talking about mental cultivation. So vipassana, the V means what? Means looking into something with a very particular way, and that particular way, it brings a lot of clarity and precision. And seeing when you pierce through, you're actually seeing each component as very distinct, separate, and piercing all the way through, so as to perceive the most fundamental reality of that particular thing. So that particular thing could be your physical sensations, your mental feeling, your memories, or your emotions, or anything that arises on your mind at that moment. Okay, so it could be anything, or even just your breath. Even just your breath. And Vipassana, the Vipassana is mainly based on the Satipatthana, as you are aware. So, quiz time. Satipatthana. So how many?
4.
Okay. So which 4?
Body, mind,
Which 4?
body, body, feeling, mind.
Body, feelings,
Mind.
mind? No. Mind is what? 5, Dhamma. So body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. So 4 Satipatthana. Okay. So you have to remember this, because observing the breath, even when you're talking about the mindfulness of the breath, it actually encompasses the 4 Satipatthana. Why? Do you understand why? No? So the breath is physical, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When you are feeling the breath, you are feeling the breath, right? That's the second Satipatthana. And the third Satipatthana above the mind, when you are feeling such breath, if your breath is very gentle, calm, soft, that means your mind is calm. The Dhamma of the mind at that time is calmness. Dhamma of the mind. How could I put it in words? Is you cannot just feel the mind. There is something for you to feel. Then you are actually working with the mind. Okay? So if there is nothing, then you cannot actually feel them. Like the body, right? How can you feel sensations without a body? Yeah, you can. So then you must have a body in order to feel sensations, right? Okay. Then the mind is there must be something in the mind before you can actually feel what's going on in the mind. Yeah. So I always say the Dhamma of the mind is the content of the mind at that particular moment of life. Content. So just like the oranges, I always like to use this analogy. The oranges. So what are the oranges? What is the content of the orange?
Juice.
The juice, the flesh,
Seed.
the skin, right? So the whole skin actually contains all the flesh, all the juice, and the pits of the orange, right? So the skin itself, that round thing itself, you could call it the mind. But the content inside the orange is the Dhamma of the mind in that particular orange. Yeah? Understand this? That is the fourth Satipatthana. So when I'm talking about the breath, if the mind is having some emotional turmoil, for example, anger, when there is anger surfacing on this mind, before you feel the anger, okay, that's the content of the mind at that particular moment is anger. Before you know that you are angry, if you're observing your breath, you notice that your breath is changing, going to heavier, going to deeper, very, very coarse, and sometimes it could be heated, right? So you see, you actually, by observing the breath, you are actually doing the four Satipatthanas. That's why a lot of ancient teachers, or even today teachers, say that you can also attain an enlightenment through the observation of breath. People think that just observation of breath is just anapanasati. That means the awareness of the incoming breath and the outgoing breath. But no. Towards the end stage of anapanasati, you're actually developing vipassana. Right? Vipassana is observation. Actually, when you feel the breath, you're already observing the breath. Yeah? So if you start to pierce into looking at the characteristics of the breath and why would I have such breath, you're actually doing vipassana. Understand? Okay? So the full meaning of this vipassana bhavana is the cultivation of the mind, aimed at seeing it in a very special way that leads to insight and to full understanding. What does it mean by special way? That means you actually direct it to a very intense examination, okay, of that particular object that you are observing. For example, our breath. We are actually observing it with very intense examination of our breath. Because of this intense examination, we start to understand the nature of this breath. And because of understanding the nature of this breath, we start to, because the breath is actually what? It's a very integral part of our existence. It's a very crucial part of our existence. Without the breath, you and me cannot exist anymore, right? So by understanding that breath, the characteristics of its own existence, indirectly, we are actually understanding our physical existence pertaining to this whole body, this human existence in totality. Are you still with me? Yes. Okay. So when you are actually, if you are really into this, you are training yourself to experience more and more the present flowing experience that's happening right now, right here. And then when you are actually very, very focused and very mindful, the mind, and you're just in that mere awareness, the mind is actually very calm. It could become very, very calm. And then at that time, you hear things, you just hear things. So that's when what the Buddha said is, sound is just a sound. A smell is just a smell. A taste is just a taste. In the Nikaya, I can't remember which chapter, actually he talked about this. About Sound is just a sound. So you're listening, you're just listening. You will be very attentively listening, but you are not judging. You are not analyzing. You are not expecting. Okay? So this whole Vipassana Bhavana is really training us to learn how to pay attention. How to pay attention. When we become aware, we are paying attention. That's why we become aware. If we are not paying attention, we won't become aware. And when you're paying attention, you see a lot of small things that you don't see. Remember, Laurie, what I gave homework to the kids last week? What did they say?
The next day?
Yeah.
Oh, many of them forgot to do it.
Uh-oh.
But
some of them did remember.
they did, yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about it, and it was interesting because they, by talking about it, they realized, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, just paying attention and seeing things that I didn't notice before.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at school last week. So as I think I told you. Oh no, I did not tell you. I was at school last week, and then I gave them homework to do. And they were looking at me so scared, thinking I was going to give them a big homework to do. But it was just very simple thing like mindful seeing. Go home and look at your room, any room. And there was a kid, she went into her closet, right? And noticed that so many dots in the closet that she never noticed before. So that is mindfulness, that's paying attention. When she started to notice, that means she's actually allowing her mind to become another type of mind, right? She's changing the mind. She's changing the quality of the mind. She's improving the quality of the mind. So she becomes more attentive. So can you imagine if the children keep having this kind of training? How attentive could they become? I just wish that it will happen more and more often, right?
They are enjoying it, and they're especially enjoying reminding me when I'm not being mindful. They're keeping me on my toes.
Mrs. Ruka, ring the bell, please.
Yes. That wasn't mindful seeing, Miss Ruka.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what they say. Wow. How did you feel when they say that to you?
I'm happy that they know this.
Oh, good.
I'm happy they're thinking about it, and I'm happy we're talking about it.
Good. You did not get upset because they pick on you? No, that's great.
And
Yeah.
I pretended because they think that's amusing, and it keeps them interested.
Yeah. And then they keep trying
They do.
to pick on you.
Yeah.
Great. I love going to her class because the kids are really different, very different children. Yeah. So we are actually, I mean, most of you are practicing Vipassana, and I know that you. So you remember, we are all learning to pay attention, and this learning process is never ending because there's so much to learn. So don't think that you have practiced the Vipassana meditation for 20 years. I'm such a seasoned meditator. I don't need to meditate. I don't need to develop that continuity. I tell you, there's so much outside in this big world that you don't know. That you just have to keep going and learn and growing and maturing. So a lot of times when you sit there and you think that, oh, I'm aware of my breath, you are not aware of your breath. I tell you, a lot of time you are not aware of your breath. That is a total illusion that you are aware of your breath. You're gone. You know, in 60 minutes, I think you probably could be aware of your breath maybe for a few minutes. That's already very good, right? Because the breath is so subtle. It's so subtle. And if you can be aware of, continuously be aware of a few breaths, I tell you, your mind will come down very fast. So hopefully through mindfulness, developing this continuity of awareness and mindfulness, we gradually become aware of what we really are deep down, not the illusionary me or you. We think that we exist, it's all illusion. Yeah, it is apparent. Apparently, it is true. It's painful if I paint myself like this, or if I have hair pull myself, it's painful. Yeah, that's the apparent truth. But when you really go deep into your meditation and you start to dissect and understand and pierce and understand and pierce, and you go inside the orange, you try to peel off one of the fruits, the flesh, and then there are little blobs there, and you try to open up that little blob, and the juice come out, and you try to tear off that little fiber. What will you end up with? End up with nothing. So because that is the physical existence of the orange, and that's why the Buddha said the physical existence of us is just like what? For God. For God. For God.
So I got a question. When you're paying attention,
I am asking you a question. You reply me first before I answer you.
Foam on the water?
Yeah, good. Wow. Hey. Yes, foam or bubbles when the rain drops. Yeah, bubbles. Foam on the water, disappear, come up, disappear, come up. What's Sankara? What did he say about Sankara? It's like what? A fruit.
A fruit.
The tree of a fruit.
Banana.
Yeah, banana tree, the trunk of the banana tree, Sankara. Yeah? You peel, you peel, you peel, you peel, you peel, you peel. There's nothing in there. It's hollow. Right? Have you looked into a banana tree? Come in the summer. Okay, we'll cut all the leaves of the banana tree, then you can look into the trunk. We have a few banana trees at the front garden.
Really?
Yeah. Who said really?
Me.
Oh yeah, you?
She's
Yeah.
from Mintek, so she can't understand that.
Oh, you can understand that?
But I'm from Malaysia, and we have lots of banana trees.
Yeah, but we have banana trees, but no bananas, okay?
And then they're not really banana trees.
We have banana trees with no bananas. That's
It's not a banana tree, there's no bananas. What kind of banana tree is that?
banana trees with no bananas. You like it, eh? You better move down to Chilliwack to look at some banana trees with no bananas. You don't get that in Malaysia, do you? It's only in Chilliwack. Okay, so this Vipassana Bhavana is actually a form of mental training and mental taming that actually teach us to experience this world in a very completely different perspective. Okay, and so hopefully, if you practice long enough and you practice seriously enough, you will start to understand who are you and what is you. Who are you? And so at the end of the day, it comes back to Zen. Who are you? You're nothing. You're just calipers. You're just like little atoms. Nothing. There's nothing in there. So, okay. So this is sort of like an introduction of different types of meditation. So when we meditate, what kind of attitude should we carry? Come on, you guys are seasoned meditators.
Alertness,
Alertness, that's very good.
curiosity,
Good.
Equanimity.
Equanimity. Okay.
Determination.
Determination, good. None of it in my PowerPoint.
Patience.
Huh?
Patience.
Patience, that's very good too.
Confidence.
Huh?
Confidence.
Confidence, that's good. What? Yeah, confidence in the last.
Interest.
Interest is like curiosity, right? Mhm.
Faith.
Open mind.
Faith, open mind. Yeah, don't expect, right? Okay, you hit it. Don't expect. A lot of people expect during meditation. They expect, for example, if there is pain, they expect the pain to go away. They expect the pleasant sensation, or they expect the pleasant experience to linger on. And they expect themselves to be able to make through the whole hour or 2 hours without falling asleep. Or they expect this and they expect that. A lot of times we do have that kind of expectation. And with that, any expectation, we are going down a different path. Okay? So, for example, when people are experiencing a lot of pain, physical pain, and if they expect the pain would go away, and they would try very hard to stay in that particular posture and trying to maintain the mind very calm, to accept the pain, to deal with the pain, to analyze the pain, and blah, 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 blah. But if after 10 minutes, after half an hour, the pain is still there, you say, hey, you better go. I'm fed up with you. Or you're torturing me. So at that time, if the pain still goes on, and if you want really determined to stay in that posture, you will actually start to strain yourself a lot. Straining. Okay? So don't strain yourself. Some people, especially in China, a lot of students, I mean, I've seen quite a few students who are really straining themselves. They have severe back pain, they have had injuries, and when I offer them a chair, it's like I offer them something really weird. Chair? No. Then I thought you should come to Canada and have a look. Especially, well, Poland is okay. Especially go to some meditation center. You see chairs all along the wall. And then on the meditation mats is all castles. All castles built up by meditation cushions and yoga blocks and everything. Right? I think James and Mike would agree with me. I always call those meditation castles. When they get up, I'm so scared that their castle will break. Or sometimes when they sit down, because it's so high, I always afraid that they will fall back or fall on the front, and then, because really, I mean, wow, whole shelves of whole shelves of cushions could be gone in no time. They get like 5 or 6, just put it next to them in case they need them. Right? Because why? They don't want to strain themselves, so they pluck a cushion here, they pluck a cushion here, and they pluck a cushion here, and they wrap themselves with these kind of thing, and that wrap themselves with that kind of back. What do you call that?
right?
Yeah, a brace. Oh, some braces are very strange. A brace here, a waist brace, and then with two slings holding on to the knees. It's just amazing, all these kind of inventions. We don't see in the East. In the East, you just bite it out. You just bite your teeth and go on. You know, that's straining. Sometimes, I remember, did I offer you a chair?
Yeah, it was the backrest. Yeah.
Oh, it was a backrest. That was a long time ago, eh? She still flushed. Look at her. She still blushes. Can you share your experience, please? It's a Dhamma sharing.
Okay.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah. So it was my second 10-day sit, and it was here at Palam, and Sifu was obviously teaching, and I got a little note on my dining room seat saying, "Go see the teacher at lunchtime." I think it was day 3 or 4. And so I sat down in front of Sifu, and Sifu said, "You seem to be having difficulty," because I was really trying hard to sit with nothing, like just on the cushion all day. And I was in a lot of pain. And I said, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. And Sifu said, "But can I give you a backrest?" I said, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. And Sifu said, "You seem to be pretty hard on yourself. Maybe just the backrest." No, I'm okay. And then she tried a third time. Said, "Just for the discourse, okay?" Okay, thank you. But then I used it. Oh. Thank you.
I think the backrest make her stay here until now. So the straining, it could be really straining. It could strain on your mind, it could strain on your body. Sometimes it could really hurt your body too. My fellow monk, a few years ago, I went to visit him, and I saw him limping. He used to be very agile. He can just and then double lotus. He doesn't need to use his hand like me pulling my leg up like this. Oh yeah, you want to see him now? He cannot do it anymore. Why? He actually, during one of the meditation, he felt so much pain on his ankle. And he said, "Oh, well, this is just pain." And he was very equanimous. He just watch it and watch it. He actually tore one tendon. That's why he limped. He can only do single lotus, half lotus now. So, I don't mean that full lotus will always break one of your tendons, but if you're experiencing extreme, excruciating pain, sometimes it's wise that you can just let go. Just relieve yourself by changing the posture. Okay? So don't go overboard, like, sit 4 hours with double lotus and full lotus and without moving. Or you can sit 4 hours full lotus without moving. It's possible. By what? How can it be possible? Sitting full lotus for 4 hours, or even 6 hours, or even a full day.
Concentration.
A very deep samadhi. Actually, almost the first jhana. You can. There is no time at that time. You can. But if you are really counting the seconds, or counting the minutes, or counting the hours, don't. Okay? Of course, you have to understand the meditation technique that you are using right now. Where does it come from? Why? How can I use this meditation technique to actually deal with whatever that I'm feeling right now? Okay? So that's very, very important. And also, the third is, do not rush yourself. Do not rush yourself into certain experiences or at achieving certain experiences. Whenever you rush, that means you will likely lose your
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness, exactly. That's why when people drive, going to work, missing the appointment, then they rush, always, a lot of times accidents happen. You trip, you bump your car into others' car because you rush. You lose that mindfulness. Okay? So, and then whatever experience that you have, do not reject it. A lot of times I have seen students coming to meditation, even like sometimes could be very mature students. Yes, they learn the technique and they have the experience, but they really doesn't really understand the technique enough to understand their own experience. You know what I mean? For example, let's see, what can I say? For example, if there is a severe pain on your neck or whatever. Okay, so for very new students, you really don't need to explain too much to them. Just allow them to relax and just relax yourself, relax the body, relax the mind, and just try to do it as much as you can. But for very seasoned meditators, you would need to understand, firstly, why would you have such pain? It could be because you're sitting for a long period of time. It could be you have had previous injury like me. I have so many whiplash accidents. I think at least 3 whiplash accidents. So when I grow old now, when I'm old now, I always constantly experience so much pain and strain on this area. I don't get alarmed by this. So that is one reason. But the most important reason is, especially when people are doing Vipassana, is we start to allow this really deep hidden old habits come up, or the sankhara come up. All those old past sankhara starting to come up. A lot of time they manifest in the weakest part of your body. So when sankhara comes up, for example, for myself, a lot of times I would experience extreme pain just from the neck to the shoulders, all the way to the scapula. I was just like really crouching pain and piercing pain, like knife going in with screwdrivers, and heat and strain and cramps. Oh, you name it, I got it there. What can I do? I cannot take the shoulders out and throw it away. And I cannot take the pain out and throw it away. But I understand the whole mechanics behind this meditation. I understand. And I do understand. Why I don't experience such pain when I'm not in meditation. When I leave meditation hall, it's okay. Yes, there's chronic pain, but it's okay, it's bearable. But when I'm in the meditation hall, it could be so unbearable. It could be so difficult. But because I understand the mechanics of this meditation, of this particular meditation, why would it happen like this? And how I actually embrace it, and how should I really understand it, and how should I really start to observe it? And when you start to really embrace it with that awareness and with the equanimity, very strange, that pain will start to change. It will become worse sometimes, but a lot of times it becomes softer. And it's soft, and it's soft, and it's soft, and it's soft, and it's soft. So we really need to understand whatever meditation technique that we adopt, what's the mechanics behind it? What is not the mechanics? What is that?
The theory behind it?
Huh?
The theory behind it?
The theory or there's a word.
Essence.
Huh?
Essence.
Essence? Yeah. The
workings.
Huh?
The workings of it.
The workings of it?
Manifestation.
Manifestations, yeah. Everything. Everything that you said. Okay. All right. So you really need to understand, otherwise you will feel that this meditation is not working for you. And then also don't attach and don't cling onto whatever that you experiences. Is a lot of times students come back and say, it's very different this time. Last time it wasn't like this. It was like this, the same part of the body as last time and this time, okay. This time, so that means that's permanent, right? It's impermanence. That's why you will be always, don't attach, don't cling on to whatever that you like. All right? So the most dangerous time is when you have a very, very wonderful experience. Whether it's from Anapanasati or whether it's from Vipassana, or whether it's from Tantric meditation, is you have a wonderful, very blissful, very peaceful, and very inspiring experience. Then next time you start to sit again, what do you want? May that experience return right here and now. May that experience stay. Why? When you have the, for example, when you're doing Anapanasati, you keep very focused on the breath, and you start to see this nimitta. Nimitta, that means when you become very focused, then you start to see maybe a light, maybe you feel there's a cloud, maybe you feel there's a flower, or there's a very, very focused sensation. The sensation here is also called nimitta. Okay, a very focal sensation. It's not very dispersed sensation. Okay, so that nimitta, and when that nimitta comes, or when that nimitta arises, it's actually your meditative state. Is your meditative state that is actually projecting outward, so that you see that nimitta. So that nimitta could be anything. It could be a flower, it could be a cloud, could be a lump of cotton, it could be anything. It's different every time. It could be different every time. For example, you see a light, okay? It could be a white light, it could be a big one, it could be a small one, it could be a very far one, it could be the far one coming closer and closer but never reach here. Okay. But as soon as you become very calm and see that nimitta, nimitta! Gone. Because you see, at that moment, your mind has a thought. Your mind has an intention. The intention of what? The nimitta has to say. Wonderful. And that's gone. So next session, you sit down and try to find the nimitta. Go back to the breath. Hey, yes, breath, stay here, stay, because just now the experience was so pleasant. Have you had that experience before? You have. You wanted the nimitta to stay, right? Yeah, but it will never stay. And I tell you, it takes a long, long time before it returns again. Don't attach and don't cling. And when you don't attach and you don't cling, then just observe the way it is. That is mere observation. Pure awareness, just pure awareness. Okay. I think I shared with you a couple of, last time, the other week, what I actually felt was mere observation during my self-meditation course in October. there was really no ego in there. There was really no intention in there. Just me. Wow, I said, I noticed that I was watching with my ego. I was observing with my ego. And then I said, wow, you're observing with that ego. That means there is an intention, a very strong intention there. Wow, such a strong intention. And I saw that intention and I said, wow, that's really horrifying. I have always been observing with that intention, in that mind. How can you really be free? There's no way that you can be free. Then I remind myself, mere observation. Remember, mere observation. And because of this mere observation, I could really embrace things that come along my way. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's a challenge or whether it's an opportunity, it's really not. It's really the same. And that's when you really can reach that state of seeing things they are. Otherwise, a lot of time you try to convince, this is the way it is. The way it is, okay? So you verbally actually remind yourself the way it is and be honest. The way it is and be honest. And the way it is and equanimity becomes a tantra, becomes a mantra that you keep repeating in your head all the time. So remember, and be very gentle with yourself, like take the backrest over by your teaching. A lot of times, investigate yourself thoroughly, especially when you're experiencing some experiences very, very, very pleasant or even unpleasant. When people come to me and say, "Oh wow, yes," this is just one example. When I sit, my body started to sort of go like this. I said, "Wow, isn't that nice? It's very blissful, right?" Yeah, it's just like doing physiotherapy. Or it's just like going into that jacuzzi. It's so nice, I said, yeah. Investigate yourself thoroughly at that time. But I cannot stop there. I said, well, try to understand what is on your mind when that body starts to swing. Okay? Are you liking it? Is that very nice? Do you want it to go on? I said, investigate yourself. I said, no, I don't have any craving for it. No, nothing. I remember when I taught in Toronto, there was this lady, wow, so strong. But her swing was so subtle. And I spotted it. And I called her to come and see me at noontime. Of course she wasn't happy, right? I did not sign up to see you. Why do you want to see me? Because our teachers won't ask you to come and see them. But I spotted her and I didn't want her to go on, swinging her body like, even though very, very subtle, very, very subtle. I said, did you notice that your body swoops around when you meditate? No. I said, really? She said, no. I said, well, try to observe yourself and let me know at 3:30, okay? 3:30, then it's after the group sitting. And up to see me, and she said, yeah, but very little. I said, yes, but that very little could become very big. I said, you have to correct it. Really? There's nothing on my mind. It's just natural. I said, it's not natural. Yes, in some kind of meditation, they want you to swing. Especially those people who actually practice Qigong. They swing. Or they swing like hell. They go like this. Oh yeah, they can go down and up. And they don't break their back. Yeah. So I said, well, try to observe yourself and try to observe yourself very detailedly. When your body starts to swing, how do you feel? And how do you like that feeling? She said, I can reassure you that I have no craving for it. I said, don't tell me now. Just go and experience first. You can tell me later. But I did not ask her to come and see me anymore. 2 days later, she signed up to come and see me. She said, you're right. I like it. I enjoy it very much. Now I miss it. She can stop. I said, as soon as you start to investigate yourself, as soon as you start to observe yourself very mindfully at that moment, I tell you, it will stop by itself. It doesn't go on. It's very strange. But it's all in that mind. Okay? And also, remember, every difficulty is an opportunity for you to grow, for you to actually improve, and for you to strengthen that determination, and for you to develop that actually confidence. And also, don't try to figure out why am I like this. Why am I like this? Don't try to fix it. If you feel tight, you feel tight. If your mind wanders, your mind wanders. Okay, bye-bye. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. Thank you.
Happy holiday, officer.
You too.
Thank you. Safe drive home. Yeah, bye-bye. Take care, Terry.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, but you will see me in a couple of weeks. I'm going away.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. I just not baby. So don't try to figure out and don't try to fix. And the most important is do not compare. Do not compare your present experience with your past experience. Do not compare your own experience with others' experience. That's why your own experience is the secret. You don't have to share it with anybody else. Because all of us are very unique. And all our experiences only happen to us. You agree?
I just made me think when you said that, when we do share,
Yeah.
how often you hear, yeah, I have that happened to me, you know, so.
Yeah. But you see, sometimes when you share some experience, yeah, that happens to you mostly with difficulties.
Yeah.
But with like a pleasant experience, then people say, it doesn't happen to me. What's wrong with me? No good. This is not good. And I better find another technique, right? And you sit there and you want to find that pleasant experience that Laurie has experienced. But I'm not Laurie, right? So that's actually very important. Okay. So the next whole slide is difficulties, but I don't think we should go on. It's 8 o'clock, 8 to 5. But I will send that off to you. Let us just go skim through it, okay? First thing is physical pain. It could be. But you understand the whole theory behind the technique that you're learning and how you can use that theory, use that technique to actually deal with physical pain. That's very important to understand the whole meditation technique that you are using. How does it work? Right, okay. Of course, this is drowsiness is actually one big obstacle, one big difficulty. Mental images, overwhelming emotions, bored now. I'm so bored. It's so boring to observe the breath. There's nothing to see. Of course there's nothing to see. Because you're expecting to see what? The breath is so interesting to see. Every breath is so different. Because you're expecting the breath to be very different. That's why you're looking for something very different. That's why you become so bored when you see something that is not what you expected. But sometimes we do get bored. We do get bored and say, okay, I am bored because I don't like this situation. You see, then that's not the way it is. You are not observing the way it is, okay? And also fear. Or trying too hard, agitation, discouragement, lack of confidence, stupor or dullness, and lack of continuity. And of course, tiredness. And of course, desires. And of course, many more. Right? Oh, it could be an endless list, right? And each time the difficulties could be so different. Yeah. So what are the solutions to all these difficulties? Well, deep breath. When you do deep breath, I have a very nice deep breath technique. Do you want to hear? Yes. Really? Yes. Okay. When I do deep breath, I can just do like this. I go through the nostril very, very deep, and I actually could feel the breath going from the nostrils, going back to the back of the back of the respiratory tract, the nasal pharyngeal tract, and it goes down, go down all the way to this navel. Hold it there for a couple of seconds, and then I breathe it out slowly. And then when I breathe it out, I notice, I become aware that how do I breathe out all the way through here, all the way through here, through here, through. Yeah, it is a little bit intentional. But what is deep breath for? It's really to calm your mind, to refocus your mind. So it has to be intentional. So this really intentional deep breath, like focusing through the nostril, 3 deep breaths, you can really just so calm. You become so calm and so clear so fast. You try this, especially when you start the meditation. If you can start using just these kind of 3 deep breaths, like it's almost 20 seconds for one breath. There's no sound, nothing. It's very, very focused. And you can actually feel the whole body start to like hush. It works out. Yeah. It really works, this deep breath. Especially when your mind is agitated. Do a few of these deep breaths. And when you are feeling a lot of pain, these deep breaths, I tell you, it works so well. It's not that you're pushing the pain away, it's actually gearing yourself up to deal with the pain. You actually start to detach yourself from the pain. You start to say, hey, the pain is not hurting me. The pain is just a pain, it's just a sensation. And it's me here, feeling the breath. You get to distance yourself from that identification. Is that identification? Yeah. Identification with me and mine. Okay. Sometimes I would recommend people to count, but I seldom, because it's very difficult to kick this habit once you start to go into counting. I seldom recommend that, but only with some people who really wonders too much. I only ask them to count the in-breath or the out-breath, which one is obvious for them. I don't ask them to count in and out all the time, otherwise they get too busy. So I'm not going to teach you this counting thing, okay? And then the in and out technique, that means you either observe the in-breath or you either observe the out-breath. Then the mind have a space, either the in-breath space or the out-breath space to actually rest a little. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So that could give that mind a little break. Okay. It's not very long, but that could be very sufficient. And also cancel out the unskillful thoughts with the skillful thoughts. You know, allow skillful thoughts to arise. And also remembering the purpose of your own meditation. Why do I come to meditate? Because I want to free myself from all those entanglements. And this walking meditation, I feel very, very useful, especially when people become very agitated, angry, or the mind wanders just so much. The walking meditation really helps. Okay. Of course, there are different kinds of walking meditations. And there are two types that I teach. Maybe I can share with you later on. One is just walking, noticing the breath or the steps. And the other one is actually noticing how you actually shift the gravity of the weight of your body, the gravity of this body, from one side to another side while you walk. And that could be so what do you say? Concentrating, focusing. It brings you into a very, very focused mode. And the most important is when you forget all of this. Doesn't matter. When you remember the qualities of the Buddha, you remember the qualities of the Dhamma, and you remember the qualities of the Sangha. And to have that gratitude that, at least I have this jewel in me, that now it's masked, but I have this jewel in there, inside. I'm grateful that because of this external jewel, that I'll be able to actually cultivate the internal gem eventually. Okay, so there's a fast run of the last 3 slides. So because Eva and Laurie raised this question up, want me to talk about the difficulties or solutions to difficulties or meditation, that's why this tonight, this whole Dhamma. Okay? Good. Okay. So, thank you. So, let us dedicate our merits. So, bring our attention to this body, to this mind. This moment-to-moment experience, the experience of this true nature of existence. At this moment, we allow this good thought to arise in our mind. For all the benefits that I gathered tonight, may I share with all beings, human, non-human, visible, invisible, big or small, far or near. May they be free of enmity. May they be free of mistakes. May they start to live in the world with brightness, warmth, and experience compassion and love, and be happy and be peaceful. May more and more people will encounter the words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them. and allow themselves to liberate and attain this ultimate freedom and true happiness.